Welcome to the pod. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Cache Roberts, and we are back with another episode. It is Toxic Tuesday, though the title does not say that. We're playing with titles these days because when I first started my podcast, I felt like I had the most fun titles and I really wanted to do a fun title. And so, like, Toxic Tuesday in the topics. Also, this Toxic Tuesday is literally just different. This Toxic Tuesday is different, you guys. And it is because we're talking about Dr. Wendy. This Toxic Tuesday, I'm literally just talking about Dr. Wendy. And then I'm going to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac, episode 2. I'm talking about the Miami part 2 reunion. And I'm talking about Salt Lake City. Because that is what other news is there to really talk about? I didn't get a chance to talk about Dr. Wendy. This has been the only thing that has been on my For You page, on TikTok, on Twitter. I am gagged, and I want to talk about it with you guys. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, I have finally gotten a new laptop. I took advantage of that Amazon Prime, and I am obsessed with how amazing. I haven't had a new computer in like literally 8 years, which is good. Like Mac, period. Like my last computer carried me from freshman year to, since I was like 18 to literally 26. But that thing was giving out. It was giving out. The keyboard would get hot. And I've never been on such a smooth Mac in such a long time. I feel like that computer really lasted. The quality, the FaceTime quality, like now I can do FaceTimes again on my computer. The battery is amazing. And now I'm finally able to blur my background. Like you can still see, but like I just feel like it looks so much better. I also have like this iridescent glow going on. I don't know if it's just because of the platform I use to record for my pod, but I look amazing right now. And this is all I've wanted. So I can't wait to like pull clips and stuff. And like, oh my gosh, it's like a net in my room. Um, I cannot wait to pull clips and stuff. Like, period. The quality is insane. And I'm really excited to get into my podcast journey and my writing and stuff just on this new laptop. I've had a broken S key for the past 2 months. So it's been really difficult for me to like really get into what I want to get into, like writing and stuff. Like I've been avoiding like my newsletter and stuff from LinkedIn because I just hate typing on that old laptop. That laptop lasted me forever, so we're gonna pour one out for my laptop. I'm also recording in the middle of the day, so yeah, it's like a holiday. It's Columbus Day, but like no one's off, but like what the heck. So I'm recording in the middle of the day. So I shouldn't have any sun problems. I wish I could do this like every Monday, but this Toxic Tuesday is so toxic. We're only talking about one topic. It's literally Dr. Wendy. Like I don't know what else we would talk about. Like, I've looked for news. All I'm seeing is Dr. Wendy. Guys, this bug is about to annoy me. And it's my freaking podcast, and this is what I literally only want to talk about. So sorry, guys, this Toxic Tuesday is very different. We are doing a deep dive on Dr. Wendy. We're going to talk about the full breakdown of the charges. We're going to talk about my reaction because I have a reaction, a strong one. We're going to talk about how being Nigerian plays a big part into this, and not in the way you guys probably think. And we're going to talk about what's expected. Like, she has a court appearance coming up. We're going to talk about Potomac because now it is insanely difficult for me to watch Potomac knowing what we know. We're going to talk about Potomac for sure. And Wendy's dynamic with the group. We're also going to talk about just some of the clips that are coming out, and we're doing a deep dive on Dr. Wendy and Happy Eddie because that is all that is of importance. And then we'll talk about Salt Lake City and we'll talk about Miami after we talk about Potomac. So this will probably be an hour episode, but I'm really focusing on one topic. And then of course I'm going to talk about like the different shows we are currently watching. the different housewife shows, because we got to get into that Miami, because man, that was something. Haitian Mortician, like it's just a lot going on. There's a lot going on, but I do want to start with Dr. Wendy. So obviously, if you've been living under a rock, and I specialize, my podcast mostly specialize in the housewives drama, obviously pop culture, celebrities, but housewives drama mostly. I specialize in, and especially like my what's the reality on what the reality. So it's so funny that all this is happening right now, because I was in the middle of uploading, and I have a TikTok. You guys, make sure you guys follow me on TikTok, like especially now that TikTok's staying. Like I'm mostly active on TikTok. Like that's where I talk about a lot of this stuff. But I was uploading my what's the reality on Candace and Monique's friendship, and their friendship fallout part 1. Make sure you guys give that a listen. That dropped last Friday. And make sure you download it, give it a rating, all that stuff. Do everything, okay? Let's get it up. But I was in the middle of uploading that in the morning on Friday, like in the morning on YouTube. I was in the middle of uploading it. And then I literally get a notification from TMZ. I'm going to insert the picture here of Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo, Happy Eddie, mugshots. And they were being booked on criminal charges in Maryland. And they looked high as a kite. When I tell you I was gagged, I was gagged. Like I had no, wait guys, I literally had no thoughts. My jaw was probably on the floor for a good hour. I was glued to my phone this whole weekend. I physically could not believe it. I was literally gagged. They've been booked on criminal charges. I want to get into everything that they are being alleged on. When the first article came out, it was very, from TMZ, it was very like all over the place. It was just like very like, because people have been trolling Candace, because they had a live reaction because she was actually visiting Fox DC at that time, and this news was literally coming in because they got arrested Thursday night, and this was like fresh off the press Friday morning, and they got her live reaction. She was reacting to $300, as I was. Like initially the first article, they talked about $300, in excess of $300. So a lot of people were like, oh, just pay that back. We didn't think it was anything. But when you keep reading, it was saying like Wendy had alone 16 criminal charges and 7 felonies. But I'm like, for $300 is crazy. You know what I mean? Obviously now more details have come out. I have screenshots of court documents, and I have a couple articles I do want to read, but essentially an overview before I do read this US Weekly article that really provides a lot more information. Essentially, Eddie and Wendy have been booked on fraud, criminal charges, for insurance fraud, alleging essentially that a lot of stolen items from a fake burglary. They allege that they lost a lot of items, and I'm sorry. Why is there balloons uploading in my screen? Wait. Okay, that was so weird. I'm like learning new things about this app. As soon as I like did the gesture, like I swear balloons started flying. Anyway, so where did I leave off on? So essentially, yes, they were claiming there was a burglary, and apparently that was totally staged. Like that wasn't even true. And they had listed all of these stolen items, and I guess, they reported this to 3 separate insurance claims houses, and without disclaiming to the insurance people themselves that they were making several other claims, which I guess is like a huge no-no in insurance fraud. And they were reporting like a list of like all these items that were stolen, but literally Wendy has been seen wearing this stolen ring, her stolen engagement ring that they were reported was stolen. So I guess they've been on to them for a while, because obviously like people say like these insurance people, like they are worse than the cops. Like if you make a claim or you do something, they will be watching you to see what you're doing, how you're spending, all of this stuff, especially for a lot of this money. Um it's a lot. So I really want to get into, I think I'm going to get into the full breakdown from US Weekly, and then I'm going to read some statements that I have, some court documents that I do have from Twitter that someone reported. Like they have like the legit court documents. This is from the state of Maryland, of course, and all of this stuff. But I'm going to read, this is from US Weekly. This is like basically saying everything that has happened. This is an overview, and then we'll get into what the court documents are alleging. Yes, let's deep dive right into it. So, Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and husband Eddie Osefo have been arrested for fraud. A grand jury indicted Wendy, 41, on insurance fraud, conspiracy, insurance fraud, and false statement to the police officer on Thursday, October 9th, according to court documents obtained by US Weekly. Eddie, 41, and Wendy were booked in Westminster, Maryland on Thursday. According to court records, the couple was released on Friday, October 10th, after posting $50K bond each. So that was another question a lot of people had on social media, or I was hearing, I know it was $50K bond. I didn't know if it was each or 50 together. So they both had to post $50K, but you only have to post like 5% of that. So I think they only needed like $10K. Quote unquote, Dr. Wendy and her husband, Edward Osefo, are back home safely with their family and in good spirits. A rep for the couple told US in a statement they are grateful for the outpouring of concern and support from friends, fans, and colleagues. Those Osefos, alongside their legal team, look forward to their day in court. At this time, they respectfully ask for privacy as they focus on their family and legal process ahead. Keep in mind, Eddie is a lawyer. So there's a part of me that's like, did Eddie see any of this coming? But there's like now footage of them being arrested literally from their homes, like on Thursday. Like, I don't think they were anticipating to be arrested at all. The couple's arrest came after the Carroll County Sheriff's Office responded to a call of a reported burglary at their home in April 2024, according to the docs. Wendy and Eddie claimed that they had gone on a trip to Jamaica and came back to find their bedroom and closets ransacked, as well as several designer handbags and jewelry stolen. There was a screen, quote unquote, there was a screen with damage laying on the roof, and the window was not locked. To go in or out of that window, one has to step on the toilet. The toilet lid was down and had no debris on it. When sheriff's office personnel stepped onto the roof and back into the home, they tracked roof grit back inside, the docs read. So obviously they reenacted where they said was a clear burglary. The dots continue. The Osefos had an ADT system and a Ring camera. The Osefos activated the ADT alarm system upon leaving for vacation. During the time they were away, there was no motion detected inside the residence. There was activity such as package deliveries on the Ring camera that was monitored remotely by the Osefos. Eddie gave statements to 2 insurance companies regarding a list of stolen items. Only reason I'm smiling is because they just brought up Wendy's mugshot in this article, and the wig is lifted, the brows are in the lace, and the lashes are crusty. Like, this is terrible. Quote unquote, he was asked whether any of the items on the list had been returned, which he denied. He was asked if he had other insurance, but failed to disclose to home site and jewelers that he was also making a claim with Travelers Insurance. Eddie and Wendy both signed statements claiming $2,500 for the building and $450K in property. In his original claim submitted to Travelers on April 8th, 2024, Eddie stated that he and his wife were wearing their anniversary bands when the loss occurred. However, Eddie called Travelers 2 days later and said he needed to update their claim because his wife's gold diamond anniversary band was missing. So we're already seeing, like, you're getting caught up. Now there's a picture of Eddie's mugshot, and I said he looks high, and that is probably going to be his new that's probably gonna be his new way of like marketing Happy Eddie because clearly he is high right now. The same day, Travelers Insurance settled the claim for 25,380, which included the replacement price of the band, 4,500. After their initial claim in April 2024, both Wendy and Eddie signed and submitted letters to Jewelers Mutual Insurance claiming that the burglary occurred and items were reported stolen. So now they submitted it to another one looking to get some money, essentially. Claiming that, okay, so they provided the insurance company with an initial list of 57 stolen items, including Wendy's gold diamond anniversary brand, that had been reported stolen to the Travelers claim. On April 22nd, 2024, Eddie was interviewed. It did not make any mention of the jury claim or payout with Travelers. Deputies were suspicious of the circumstances surrounding the burglary, as well as records from stores where some of the allegedly stolen items were purchased, and the couple's social media and email accounts. An investigation determined that numerous items that the Osefos claimed were stolen had been purchased and then returned to the store, where a full refund was provided prior to the alleged burglary. These items were valued in excess of $20,000. A Dior shirt was listed as a stolen item valued at $1,450, but the shirt had been returned on January 14th, 2023 for a full refund. So this is just greediness at this point. A Gucci leather wallet was purchased in 2018 and returned 2 weeks later for a refund of $948.70. Additionally, while reviewing Wendy's Instagram account, deputies observed photos of the reality star prior to the burglary wearing a diamond anniversary band on her left ring. The ring was reported stolen in the burglary. After the reported burglary on April 27th, 2024, Wendy was still seen wearing that same ring on the left finger. Email records obtained by deputies showed that on April 12, 2024, Eddie emailed the list of reportedly stolen items to Wendy. The email asked if there were quote unquote additional high value items we could add to this inventory listing, i.e. Chanel shoes, etc. I'm trying to get the total to exceed $423,000, which is our policy maximum. At the time of their arrest, a search and a seizure warrant was executed for Wendy and Eddie's home. Deputies found at least 15 items that appear to be the same ones they claimed to be stolen during the alleged burglary. The investigation found that the Osefos were quote unquote burdened by substantial debt. Wendy has been a cast member, yada yada yada. Yeah, that's that. That's that. And then it goes into like this comes after Karen's arrest because Karen just got out. That is that. I want to get into the court documents now that I literally saw. What's hilarious is as I'm reading this, I get a notification because I do beauty content and I create content on this one site. It's called Benable. And someone from Maryland just viewed my list, like my makeup list. So it was just funny because this is based out of Maryland. I'm like, what the heck? What kind of juju is that? So these are the legit document statements. Obviously, it might be blurred out. These are legit documents from the state of Maryland. I'm going to be reading State of Maryland versus Wendy Osefo. So it's not even the Osefos, it's like Wendy Osefo. I mean, obviously, they'll be tried differently. So let's read these, and then we are going to talk about my reaction to all of this. And then we're going to talk about it for a minute, and then we're going to move on to some reality TV because we are going to need it after this episode. It's a lot. Okay, so now comes the state of Maryland by and through its attorney, Melissa O. Hawkins-Smith, Deputy State Attorney for Carroll County, and states the following. On Thursday, October 9, 2025, the defendant was indicted by the grand jury for Carroll County on 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy insurance fraud, and 1 count of false statement to a police officer. An arrest warrant was issued and bail was set at $50,000, which we know by U.S. Weekly as well, which got it from the court documents, of course. The allegations in this case are that on April 7, 2024, Carroll County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to blank, blank, blank. It's their address in Finksburg in Carroll County, Maryland, for a call on the reported burglary. And the biggest revelation out of all of this is like she lives far AF from Potomac. Like she lives nowhere near the DMV area, and they are traveling a good hour plus to film scenes. So a deputy was, I'm going to show you guys this map that I saw on Twitter. I hope I took a screenshot of it. So a deputy was met by the homeowners Edward and Wendy, who reported to him that they had left to go on a trip to Jamaica on April 2nd, 2024. And when they returned on April 7th, 2024 at approximately 10 p.m., they found their bedroom and both closets to be ransacked and several designer handbags and jewelry had been stolen. The state's evidence would show the purported point of entry into the home to be the owner's bathroom window on the second floor. The window looks onto a small roof that was about 9 feet above the deck. There were no ladders, and the deck furniture failure to disclose the policy with traveler's insurance. Wait, I took that out of. There were no ladders in the deck furniture. Where is 3? So I'm missing like 3, 4, and 5. In order of this, which is very weird. I'm trying to see if I even see it. I don't know where 4 and 5 are, because like the core documents read is like 1, 2, 3. So these were the only ones that were posted online that I could find at the time. So I'm missing 4, 5, and 6. So either way, there were no ladders, deck furniture. Essentially, like I said in the US Weekly, they acted it out. They're like, well, how could this have been, without XYZ? So now another statement or another report from these court documents is in the original claim submitted on April 8th to travelers. Edward confirmed that he and his wife were wearing their anniversary bands when the loss occurred. However, Edward called travelers insurance on April 10th and said he needed to update their claim, stating his wife's gold diamond anniversary band was missing. The same day, travelers insurance settled the claim for $25,000, which included the replacement price of the band, which we talked about. And then after the initial reported claim on April 11th, both Wendy and Edward signed and submitted letters to Jewelers Mutual Insurance claiming that burglary occurred and items were reported stolen. So now they are submitting claims to Travelers Insurance and they're submitting it to Jewelers Mutual Insurance, and they're hoping to get buyouts from both of these insurance companies. And they have not told these insurance companies that they have went to 2 separate insurance companies. That is where they're getting caught up at. And also the fact that he submitted this claim on April 8th about the anniversary's band's loss, and then 2 days later said he needs to update their claim with his wife's gold diamond anniversary band missing as well. They're messy. Like, how are you committing fraud and being this messy? So after initial report claimed on April 11th, both Wendy and Edward signed and submitted letters to Jewelers Mutual Insurance claiming that the burglary occurred and items were reportedly stolen. At the request of Jewelers Mutual Insurance, the Osefos provided an initial list of 57 stolen items. Included on the list was Wendy's gold diamond anniversary band. That was reported in the Travelers Insurance claim. On April 22nd, 2024, Edward was interviewed during a recorded call and did not make any mention of the jewelry claim or payout with Travelers, which is illegal apparently. Deputies were suspicious of the circumstances of the burglary and records from stores where some of the items were purchased, along with social media and email accounts. We talked about that. We talked about the Dior shirt and all of that stuff. So we talked about deputies then figuring out that she still had that ring on, and we talked about the email. I mean, this is basically everything US Weekly saying. I'm trying to see if there's anything new. And then this says Edward and Wendy conspired to make fraudulent statements and provide misleading information in support of making the 3 insurance claims for financial gain. Wherefore, the state respectively requests the bail remain the same, $50,000. So that's that. So that is what essentially has happened this weekend. That is what's captivated the audiences, and that is what we're very confused about. essentially looks like they are living beyond their means. I want to talk a little bit about like just like where we literally are. They are clearly living above their means, and that cannot have been more clear after watching now this new episode of Potomac. Like she's literally frolicking in her house, having Stacy over in a designer romper, wedges. Wendy's whole existence on the show has now turned into Instagram baddie. We're doing all of this. And I will say I've always been a Wendy fan. I don't know Stan, but I've been a Wendy fan. I've always loved Wendy. But I will say it never made sense to me for her to give up a career, you know, in education, teaching, at least when she could, or, even hosting on MSN, because that's what she was a political commentator. It never made sense to me when she kind of drew back on that and really went into this baddie lifestyle. I need the most recent designer, assume, but obviously I know, like, once you see yourself one season on reality TV, there are things you're gonna naturally change. I can't guarantee I wouldn't change some things or like fix some things. Like, she did a whole mommy makeover, especially because the first time we saw her on reality TV, she was recently pregnant, and she was going through postpartum, so she really wanted a mommy makeover when she came back. And it's crazy because Giselle and Robin and them, they were like, they really did label her as like, doing too much. Like, it just seemed like, you got Happy and Ness. Was it Happy in this? I think it was. And then like you just have this whole mommy makeover after one season. Like she changed a lot. Also, I do think because of her first season, a lot of people thought that her bragging about her education and her 4 degrees was just tiresome and annoying, when it's like you are in a group full of educated women. And she really leads with that. And that's where we're going to talk about how being Nigerian affects that. I saw this really clever TikTok of this woman frosting a cake. It's honestly one of my favorite type of videos. I love to watch people frost cakes and like decorate them. It was this woman voiceovering while she was frosting a cake, essentially, about how all of this ties into being Nigerian. And I do want to sum up her video because these are not my original thoughts, but because I don't want to slam like being Nigerian, of course, like I'm a Black woman, but and it's not even about slamming it, but it takes it a step further, because the saying is Nigerians be scamming. Like that is a running joke within the Black community. Nigerians scam people. We're gonna go further than that. I'm not about to feed into the stereotypes. We're gonna talk about that TikTok video. Um, we're gonna talk about that TikTok video. But so we see her kind of do this complete 180, Yes, mom is still, her motherhood is still important, her education is still important, but because she was not well received by viewers and by the ladies, and she really wanted to be accepted by Giselle, and of course, therefore, Robin, like, we kind of see her do this 180 of like transitioning her second season. I think it was her second season, and now she's like this baddie. And we also see her in a lot of different career endeavors, and it's just kind of like, girl, what are you doing? Like, why would you? And her mom did not want her to leave education. We see her picking up the candle business, like Karen, and then we see her, doing this talk show, which I'm like, you're not making any money from that. So for me, I was just really like, oh, Eddie must be making a lot of money as an attorney. But then we see him even venture off and start doing the Happy Eddie stuff. So I'm just like, where are they getting their income from? Because we are seeing her in a lot more designer, but a lot of stuff can be Rent the Runway. A lot of this stuff can be lit archive from Marlo Hampton in Atlanta. Like, it wasn't, I was just like, oh, she just stepping up her wardrobe and stuff. But I do hate a label whore. Like, it's like, okay, some things are nice. Like, I feel like Beverly Hills, like, Dorit and Erica are the only label whores, but I really only associate that with Dorit because Erica's stuff still be tasteful. It's like, if you wearing Chanel, like, you have to know. And I feel like Wendy started becoming a label whore as a like Dorit, and it's crazy because their situations, if we're being honest, are very similar. Dorit and PK have been accused of doing something similar to claim insurance. I don't think Dorit knew nothing about it, but I do think PK set that up, and I do think they are probably in the midst of honestly looking at a lot of these housewives and stuff. But the thing is, Dorit doesn't have any of this stolen stuff. So either way, we're kind of seeing Wendy change on the show. And I always say that because she really wants to be accepted with the group. When her and Giselle are in the same sorority, so she already felt like she kind of had to end with that. But also when her and Giselle really go through a hiccup, like you can just really see Wendy like turn into this like ultimate baddie. Like she's a supportive husband, everything. It's something Giselle would probably want to be desired, and something that Robin probably would want to be desired given the state of her relationship most of the time is a mess with Juan Dixon, his philandering, whatever. So I could see a lot of the women on this cast being very jealous of Wendy. I've always said that. I've always agreed with the colorism issues. Just because we are having an insurance fraudster right now does not mean a lot of the stuff that happened on the show is not true. I don't want NECA back. It does not mean NECA was right about anything. And it doesn't mean there still wasn't a lot of colorism on that show. I still agree that there was a lot of colorism, and I still think Wendy was fairly mistreated. However, I'm saying though, this is what happens when you are Nigerian, and she is of course American though as well. So, Nigerian American, I think she's like grown up in America as a Nigerian, right? So and this is the essence of that TikTok video that was so smart. It's like so the Nigerian side of you is like, from Nigerian culture, your parents are taught to like really like, hey, brag. They want you to have that education. 4 degrees costs money though. That's a lot of money. Yeah, you're putting off loans, but that's a lot of money. And she has a PhD. She's a doctor. That's a lot of money. So we already have them, and then he is an attorney. I'm sure he has a lot of money, and they have a lot of, like, they're probably in debt together. So I don't ever understand why you would quit a secure job. Yes, be on the show, help have your Bravo show help pay off your loans, but I don't understand why you would give up teaching if it's helping pay to pick up these extracurricular activities that are not helping pay, because your talk show was not making any money. Your candles were not making any money. Let's call a spade a spade. They were not making any money. And then, so we, like we said, and now we have an opening of the Potomac season premiere. I mean, she has stepped it up. There's a lot of, like, they got a lot of money. Like, she just reeks of money now to me. And I'm like, dang, Happy Eddie apparently is doing good. Clearly not. It's clearly not doing well. That was all a lie. This is all stolen, but you're still looking for some payout from these insurance claims. You guys are frauds. So we have the element of being Nigerian and the fact that like your parents, that culture teaches you, you know what, brag, your education is your worth. Your education is your literal worth. And then also, you're supposed to be having a family. She got 3 kids. There's a lot of debt. The document said they have been found to be in substantial debt. I don't understand why a lawyer and a doctor, and they say street smart and book smart are not the same, but they started to live above their means to give off this certain lifestyle. And it's like, this is not Love and Hip Hop. This is Housewives. And I'm sorry, Potomac is actually a very expensive place to live. We find out you guys aren't even nowhere near Potomac. I'm going to try to find the graphic so you guys can see how far they actually live from Potomac and the other ladies. So does Monique live far. So does someone else was super far up the list. Like, they're nowhere near the DMV. Like, you're traveling a good hour. Okay, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, the Potomac area is very expensive. But even Giselle, we come for her fashions every season, but she lives within her means clearly. Like, she clearly lives within her means because, I mean, she was able to put all 3 of her girls through college. Totally fine. And yeah, so then the American element for Wendy is like wanting to be accepted, wanting to be a part of this group. So when her and Giselle really don't hit it off, her and Robin don't, she's like, how else can I be accepted with these ladies? Let me show off what I have. That's the Americanism in you. It's like, oh, my brand, what I wear is my worth. So now you got your education, you flying, your 4 degrees. Now you got all this designer suddenly, and you have these businesses, a different business. I don't knock a business, but I did think it was weird when she started doing the talk show, because I'm just like, are you getting any money from this? And keep in mind, she has some pretty credible people on there. She had Karen, Barack Obama's former head, I think, House Speaker. She had Corinne on there. Like, she's had some people on there, but I'm like, you're not paying them. Are you paying them? Because if you're paying them, that's another check. They're not paying you to come on your show. Like, what is your show versus The Real? Like, The Real, they used to be on, they would rather go on that. The View, morning shows. What is Wendy's show for you to be pulling in these top guests? Are you paying them? So now that's more debt. And like I said, he was a lawyer, he was practicing. He might be disbarred for sure. Let's talk about the repercussions. He's gonna be disbarred. If they get convicted, they are looking at some serious years. I was seeing something from 16 years. Insurance fraud is no joke. So, and it's crazy to me because it's like what I saw at the end of the day after reading all of this, what I've come to the conclusion with, and then I want to move into this is my honest opinion, but that's kind of my spill on that. I want to move into something else after this because I've went too long talking about it. What I've really seen, what I've taken from all of the documents, all of this stuff is greed. I see people being greedy and people putting on a front. And I never would have thought Wendy was the type. People are like, you know what, Wendy's been very phony. I didn't think she would move like this. I thought she was smarter. And all I see now is a liar and greed. And it's going to be really hard for me to rally behind her the rest of the season. I'm trying to put emotions aside. Like the last episode, the second episode was so bad because it's like we know all this information. You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk about the episode, but I'm just saying it's very difficult. All I see now is someone that got greedy. You know, you're getting paid by Bravo, I'm sure, nice check. Why do you have to be a label whore? Why do you have to be wearing Dior? I mean, they're clearly greed because you're returning Dior tops and old Gucci wallets to the nearby store and then claiming it was stolen so you get a check for it. That is fraud. This ain't no, $100. This ain't no 50. This ain't like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a lot of money. You guys are really trying to claim stuff that was stolen and now it's not. Like, this is some serious accusations. You give false statements. The burglary allegedly never happened. So y'all been being watched for a good year and you really thought you got away with it. And I can never for the life of me understand why. Okay, you almost probably would have gotten away with it if it wasn't that smoking gun of your emails. I'm shocked an attorney is emailing and leaving a paper trail to his wife. What other stuff can we add to cover our full insurance claim, whatever it's called? And then I'm also shocked that Wendy Booksmart would be posting with these rings and these stolen goods. This ring that is the smoking gun. It's like from before the burglary to after. I'm shocked you would still be posting with that. And it's like because you're greedy and you want to live outside of your means and you want to give off this vibe that it's like we are living this sort of life. We're living up here. We have all of this. I have this jewelry. I have these designers. I can afford this. I can afford that. When really you can't. What I see is someone that let their pride and their ego get to them. And I see someone that's not humble anymore. And I feel like you guys are about to be humbled. That is my spiel on the Wendy and Happy Eddie stuff. I am majorly disappointed in them. I am still in shock. I'm learning new information a lot. So it's kind of perfect that I was able to record today with everything gathered from the weekend. I want to talk about some reactions. Ashley, they have picked up cameras to film the reactions of the, arrest. But Ashley and her big forehead, which I just have no respect for, is at some country club performing and she's like, Wen is in the pen and she said this does not come as a shock, and she's like basically mocking Wendy's arrest, and she said we're making melodies not felonies, if you know what I mean. I don't know. She said it's not shocking, but she said this ain't news to us, this is just news to y'all. So maybe so apparently what I'm getting the consensus from the group It wasn't a shock. This is what Andy Cohen said. He said he's very sad about this. He said, like, I want to say that, like all of you, I found out about the charges against Wendy and Eddie on Friday morning, and there's not much that I can say. I know nothing of the charges more than what you guys do and what I've read. He said, I'm very sad about this. I'm really sad, like, about this. And Wendy's just, I'm a Wendy fan, and she has been a great housewife and a great role model. She's always led with education, her solid family values, and so I'm really thinking about her and her family, and I'm certainly hoping that all this was all hoping that this is all some big nothing. The thing is, though, they're not following you for a year and tracking you and having a warrant for your arrest if this is nothing. This isn't the wrong person. Take the plea. Learn from your good sis, Karen Huger. Take the plea. You guys are guilty. Allegedly, they're guilty. I will be shocked if they get out of this. Either way, like, and Wendy and Eddie are so prideful with their name. Like, you guys have literally ruined your house name. I will say, some of the most iconic housewives go to jail. So you will be a Bravo legend. I mean, do your time. But you'll be a Bravo legend. There's going to be documentaries written about you guys. In terms of education, though, and like the Nigerian side, I mean, you've ruined your good name for fame. Very disappointed in Wendy. I'm very disappointed in them because this sounds about right. Now that I've like let it set in, I'm kind of like, sounds about right because of I'm just like, where did they get all their money from? Like, girl, you is switching careers on a daily. And I just knew there was no money in that talk show in the candles. I'm like, so what are y'all doing? But I knew she's had some tenure now on Bravo. But Potomac, they not getting checks like they are in Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills, the ladies are getting checks. New York, the ladies were getting checks. That's why they wanted to cancel it, because it was a money pit. That's why they cut the girls from OC, because they paying these girls a lot of money. But I knew Potomac, they weren't getting paid like other shows. Potomac, for real, is still considered newer, even though they're on their 10th season compared to OC, Beverly Hills, even OG New York. It's still Potomac is still considered a newer show, and maybe it's because it's like started like 2012, 2013, when a lot of shows were in their, holy grail seasons. So I don't know. That is the deep dive on Dr. Wendy and Happy Eddie and their fraud charges. I wish nothing but the best for the kids. But they have a fight. Their first court appearance will be November 7th. I don't know. This is clearly, I think there's going to be trial. I doubt it'll be televised. But take the plea. I don't know how you get out of this one. You guys have faked a burglary, and then you are making claims to several different insurance companies without disclosing to one of them that you're already making these claims at other ones. And I think the smoking gun is honestly the email that Eddie sent to her saying, like, is there anything else we can add to this claim? I'm trying to get it to cover our full amount of the insurance policy that they took out. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. Honestly, this episode was very bad for me. Maybe because I was still reeling on the, Eddie and Wendy of it all. But I don't know. I'm very much over the Stacey gang up and them saying she has bad breath. This is episode 2 now. None of y'all said that last season. Is giving, we're plotted before filming. We saw that Stacey was a fan favorite. Let's get everyone to say she has bad breath. And it's like crazy because you guys keep filming with her. I don't like Ashley and her forehead. She does look good this season. I'm not gonna lie. Like her confessionals look really good. Also, she got something done. Watch Happens Live. Her mouth and chin area looks very trouty. But other than that, I don't like Ashley because Ashley acts like she's not the biggest liar on that cast. Ashley was lying for years whether her and Michael were working it out, whether Michael was grabbing people's butts on camera, whether he was gay or not. And you was literally cool with being in a lavender marriage with this man. You were faking that divorce for as long as you could until you could get some money. Congratulations, you got $20 million, but you're still a loser. And Ashley to me will always be someone that was a young, hot thing that got lucky enough to get pregnant by an Australian white rich man who honestly never liked you. The allegations, the cheating had been out there. Like, Ashley is the biggest liar on the cast. She stays in everyone's business. I don't like how she's coming for Stacey, and I don't even have to be the biggest Stacey fan. I don't like what's going on. It's very tiring, and it's like y'all have seen y'all allegations before. If Stacey was 2 shades darker, we would all be calling them colors, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, you guys have a history in Potomac of trying to ice somebody out, and then it's like when it don't work, then what? Are you gonna start refusing to like film with her like Giselle used to do with Candace and Wendy? Like, I just can't sit here and watch another season of y'all trying to ice out a girl. Like, they have a terrible history of trying to ice out women and not film with them, and the alliances are just annoying. Like, I don't think Ashley has any reign to talk about a relationship. I don't think Kay has any reign to talk about a relationship. Kay, nobody wants Greg. Ashley, nobody wants Jack Harlow. Y'all are the last people to be judging her about her relationship. Whether Stacey is lying or not, which she is, Ashley is the biggest liar. And that's why I cannot support the messenger. Message, okay, I get it. Messenger, wrong messenger, because Ashley is the biggest liar on that cast, and she is a production plant, and she is a producer's pet, and she's Giselle's minion. Over her, Kay, if someone asked me, did I do my makeup? I'd be like, yeah, unbelievable. Maybe because I'm confident in my makeup skills, and often people ask me, do I do my makeup? Can I do their makeup? I wouldn't be offended by that. I wouldn't. I'd be like, yes, girl, you know I did my makeup. I always do my makeup. But for some reason, with Kay, she has seen Wendy, been on Instagram Live with her this whole time, just wants to bring this up during filming. Bye. Kay, I'm peeping her type of friends because I really like Angel, and I think the realty is Angel fits more in with the group than Kay does. Kay is trying to be somebody's lapdog, Giselle's. She told Giselle she had to chin check Angel. Who says chin check? We don't even chin check our friends because that does insinuate, that's very aggressive. That does insinuate something physical. I mean, obviously, Giselle's reaction low key would have been my reaction. People are like, Giselle, no, nobody was fighting. But I'm just saying, why would you say you chin checked your friend? That does give like you like that gives extreme aggression. And it's funny to me how she talks about her friend Angel of 20 years when she's not there. Because Angel was just like, well, did you ask about her kids? Because Wendy has now said her kids were sick twice. So I believe that. I don't believe the other stuff Wendy talking about, but I believe that. She said it twice now that her kids were sick, apparently. So that's why I'm just like, clearly the kids were sick. But Kay trying to rally the girls and tell the story about her issue with Wendy, I don't like it. Kay is giving very insecure, I need a moment vibes. She really is. Regardless of what we know about Wendy right now, Kay is still falling flat. She's falling very flat. Um she's looking a mess, you guys. She's looking very messy. So she tells Giselle she chin checked Angel. Giselle, in Giselle fashion, went to Angel's event and was like, now are you and Kay good? Because she said she had to chin check you. And Angel was like, she didn't have to chin check me. And Kay walked that statement back very fast because clearly Angel was not the one. And Kay, I don't see her and Angel being friends much longer because she wanted a yes man. Kay just shows an ounce of sympathy towards Wendy, and she's like, "Well, if that's what we're doing," she wanted somebody in her corner, but I'm telling you, they might be fine. But when Angel gets the call back next season to join again, and Kay does not, they will not be friends because Angel fits in more with the group than Kay does. And it's because Kay's not being authentic to herself right now. She's doing a lot, and I'm honestly over her. And it's only episode 2. I'm like, Kay, you're doing a lot. You're being very messy. I need more of Cookie and AJ. Seeing Cookie on there, I don't know why she's texting Chris Samuels, but I did enjoy seeing her there. I would like for her to be a friend of. Like, she just seemed, she knows the girls. You can tell Giselle really misses Karen, and that's why I do think that's a genuine friendship. I didn't think it was always, but I forget her and Karen go way back. Yes, they have their shady times. It's not like her and Robin, but like her and Karen go way back, and you can tell Giselle genuinely misses Karen. And she's genuinely wanting to know how she is. Because she left a group scene to go find Cookie and go talk about Karen. And cameras followed her because obviously we're going to follow Giselle. Like, what's Giselle doing? Giselle left a whole Kumbaya group scene to go talk to Cookie about Karen's time in prison and checking in on her, Ray, and Raven. You can tell Giselle genuinely is concerned about Karen. And I do like seeing that side of Giselle because we don't see it often. I see Giselle as, she loves the foolishness and the lies. I don't see Giselle as like this vulnerable, nice person often. So the fact that I can genuinely see like she's genuinely concerned about her good friend Karen, and she genuinely wants to make sure she's okay. She's genuinely like, is there any chance of her getting out early? Like, you can tell she genuinely has love for Karen. I think it's like really sweet. And I don't know, I just never expected Giselle to really like carry that. I just thought she'd been like, you know what, I'm sad about it, but like you can tell she's genuinely affected by Karen's absence and she wants her girl back. And I look forward for the day that her and Karen will film a scene again because Karen's coming back next season as she should. But you can tell Giselle's very affected by it. So I just liked that scene. I also like seeing AJ because AJ was trying to straighten out Stacy and Ashley's drama. And people were saying like it was giving like Atlanta, like Dwight, like Miss Lawrence, like we just need like a nice fun messy gay. He's not even messy, like it seems like he holds Stacey accountable too. And I feel like Potomac and Atlanta, even Beverly Hills, those are cities in which we embrace the gays. And I feel like Potomac's been missing a gay, like a lovely, like just like funny one, like we just needed. I don't want to sound, does that sound bad? I'm just saying like Beverly Hills, like, that's where pride is. That's like California is very like, progressive. And Atlanta is very progressive. And I don't know, I feel like Potomac necessarily wouldn't be because it's like so but the DMV is very progressive in blue. So it is kind of progressive. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like we've been needing this. We've been needing a grounded gay man that is friends with all the ladies or can be friends with all the ladies, even though he was brought in by one girl that the ladies are clearly trying to pile on right now. And hopefully he can like diffuse the situation. I would like to see AJ in more scenes because he just seems like a good time. And I did enjoy his scenes last season. But yes, I think that was really good. I really like the new girls. I really like Angel and her husband. He's fine. And then I liked Tia and her husband. He was nice too. Like I just like the new girls. I'm like, where have these new girls been? And I also am very interested in Tia like being an English Nigerian and just her background too, and I also love a black woman with an accent. Like I love a British accent. But that was really Potomac. This episode wasn't that good to me because of what we know about Wendy. And it wasn't that good to me because I don't like the Stacey Palin. The whole breath thing, are we going to do this whole season? Because let me know. Let me know. But what I gathered from Watch Evans Live, which was not live at all, I was very disappointed because they did not bring up the Wendy stuff. Or maybe they just opted out of it. It wasn't giving recent though, because they didn't discuss this recent episode. It was giving pre-recorded. Jeff Lewis was on there. He don't even watch Potomac. And it's like, it's 10 seasons in, dude. Like, okay, that's a little weird. But I don't know. I think they were talking about the premiere, which is wild because they already had someone on for the premiere. They had Giselle and Lotto on for the premiere, but it was clearly pre-recorded before the Wendy stuff. I will say. So maybe they did talk about this episode, but it was pre-recorded before Wendy's news dropped. Like I think Ashley already watched the episode, but Jeff clearly did not. But she says shockingly Wendy sticks up for Stacey a lot this season. So it'll be nice to see Stacey not be completely iced out and see Wendy kind of like stick up for her, since the other ladies are trying very hard to humble Stacey. But I was saying I think Stacey should do mints now. She should do like Stacey mints or something, or and still do cannabis. I mean, hey, I think Happy Eddie will actually go far after those mugshots photos. I think Happy Eddie will go pretty far. Let's talk about Salt Lake City, because clearly by the title of this episode, I have a Muzzy and a fraud. A Muzzy and a fraud and a Haitian mortician might be my episode title. Brown one's Muzzy. Um, this episode of Salt Lake City had a very clear juxtaposition of motherhood. So on one side, you see Bronwyn, trying to really be a better mom than her mom. So she's really walking that very progressive modern mom line of, allowing Gwen's boyfriend to live with them. And I'm like, what do you think's going to happen? Uh, what do you think's going to happen? And then you see her trying to really rectify that relationship with her mom. Her mom is very cold, very cold. And I personally would not have my mom in the house if she viewed my relationship and she viewed my granddaughter still as the mistake that was supposed to keep me down. I think her Muzzy wants to see her humbled so bad, and she's so jealous that she made it out and that Gwen was not the thing that kept her down. She thought because she had her kid early on in life, 18, 19, that was going to be her biggest mistake. And now we're looking 18 years later, Brahma is sitting in this museum-esque house. I can't even say it's a beautiful home, but it is very much replicant of a museum. It's worth a lot of money. And she has a husband that's not really home, but he pays all the bills. She, in a lot of ladies' perspective, is living the life. And I think her mom was expecting her to kind of flunk. And need her, and she doesn't need her. But now her mom is in this stage where her mom needs Bromlin, and she has to swallow that pill and have these tough conversations as to why she never told her she was great or doing a good job, or why she views this, because she thought Gwen was going to be the thing that kept her humble, when in reality it's keeping her humbled. And that is a word. That is literally a word. Her mom is so jealous and envious that Brahman made it out, even though she did it the wrong, un-Mormon-like way. She's sitting at fashion shows. She can afford Chappelle. I mean, apparently Brown's like the only one that really like pays for his stuff, his designs, his costume. Like, she is the only one out of her sisters that made it out, because you have to sit on her couch and go to sleep in her guest room and hit her husband up for money and finances, and you can't hit up the other sisters that did it the Mormon way. How's that? How is that? Her Muzzy, disgusting. A disgusting person. Very bitter. Reminds me of some people. Anyway, Salt Lake City, Lisa versus Angie again. So after Lisa was really vulnerable and said, I really care about Angie in that friendship, she has now sent her assistant to Angie's salon to essentially collect her son's hair care items that were not even on the shelves. They were in storage catching dust. Um she has sent the assistant to do that, and Lisa and Angie exchanged low blows, and then Lisa also sent Angie $600, and Angie's like, I don't need the $600. You should be using that in lawsuits for everything you're kind of getting sued right now, which was a gag. I am here for Angie. Some of her reads do be given scripted, like the franchise fries, which she's arguing with Wendy's right now on Twitter, which I greatly appreciate. It was given a little scripted. And Angie, my issue with Angie is like she do low key be looking for cameras, but I think all of those ladies do. I think Heather be looking for a camera, Whitney be looking for a camera. The only one that really don't be looking for a camera is Mary. I catch Lisa looking for one. I don't think Meredith looks for a camera. I really don't think Meredith care. Meredith should not be a housewife though. It's time for her to be a friend of. I'm gonna ask this every episode because I still think Salt Lake City got too many women on there. And now the first couple episodes I was saying Heather, but Heather was really able to bring the group together and really level them out, which is necessary, and have them move on. Speaking of, the ladies went to Lisa's Tequila Lounge after that dinner scene. Brittany was posting behind the scenes, and people were saying production's gonna be upset or like clearly everything's fake. But it's like at the end of that like dinner press conference, whatever, they clearly cleared it up. So of course Lisa would invite them to the Tequila Lounge. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, so they went there. I didn't think it was fake. I was like, we just had a good lunch after filming. Let's go to my Tequila Lounge. Let's unwind. Like, I don't think that was bad. I mean, you could stop beef with people. It's like, okay, let me go turn up, have a good time at her Tequila Lounge on her dime. Of course I would. But I'm saying this episode, Meredith does not need to be full time. She does not. And I'm sure Bravo is wasting a check. But I'm sure they're only investing in her because Brooks is filming Next Gen NYC. But honestly, he doesn't even need to be on there. I think they give the Marks family too much credit for appearing interesting. Well, I don't think they're interesting. Put Meredith on New York City because she loves New York City. She lives there. She only comes to Salt Lake to vacation and she's like, oh, I guess I'll film. Put her on New York City since you guys still want to hold on to that sinking franchise. Put her on it. I think that'll make it more interesting. Let's get into Miami because we have a Haitian mortician that Julia apparently was having an affair with, and apparently it was true. We're also getting the continuation of the biggest, bomb that, Julia and Adriana slept together at the Versace mansion or the Hamptons, but it's now being confirmed they also were fooling around the Versace mansion. And this was a couple seasons ago, like when Julia was new. So Julia has allegedly been cheating on Martina a lot, and she had this affair with this Haitian mortician that she had to give him a coffee maker as a gift. What am I saying? I don't even know. Like, this is what's really happening, apparently. I don't know. So she's had this affair with this Haitian mortician. And also, let's not forget, y'all, Julia has been engaged 9 times. Like, that is a walking red flag. There's reports that Martina is, like, contacting divorce attorneys. Last time I reported someone contacting divorce attorneys, it happened within 24 hours. I'm talking about Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. I don't know if that's going to happen, but Julia's claiming Martina did know she was going to mention it. Andy asked her clearly behind the scenes. He was like, does Martina know you're bringing this up on camera? And she was like, yes. I'm also so sick of Julia's innocent handmaids milking the cows innocent vibe when she's trying to answer stuff. Like, she's not the most calculating and manipulating person there. I'm sick of that alliance. Miami's entering dangerous territory. We got to break this alliance up between Larsa, Alexia, Marisol, and Julia. We got to break this up because Alexia and Larsa, them forgetting that they be beefing on and off all the time is crazy to me. And now Julia being added in that, so all of a sudden they are protecting her when just last season, just had a brain fart. Alexia, you did not want to be staying with Julia because you had to get clearance from Todd. And now we see why, because Julia likes to get the girls drunk and seduce them. I'm with Adriana on that. Do I think Adriana was holding this against Julia? Yes. I think there's a possibility. Julia let it all out now. Unfortunately, I do think Julia is going to be back for another season. But I do think Andy's kind of annoyed. But if you're going to bring Julia back, I want Adriana as a full-time housewife. And I want Marisol off the show. I'm sick of her doing her dirty work behind the scenes. Miami is entering dangerous territory of Beverly Hills circa seasons 8 through 12 when they had the Fox 4-5 and the Fox 4 lames. But they're really entering that bad territory where these alliances are really going to destroy the show. and I just don't see Miami making it out a good, positive way. Yes, I think alliances are going to ruin Miami's chances because people already don't watch Miami as it is. So now that they have these strong alliances out of nowhere and it seems so fake and coerced, I do think that's going to ruin their credibility on the show. I honestly think, though, after this reunion, Stephanie really proved to me that she should be in the group because she even stood up to Alexia Marisol again saying, because Marisol was like, well, now we're like all cool again. And I'm just like, Marisol, I really don't care. But even her and Alexia going back and forth, and then even behind the scenes, when Larsa was trying to convince her so much that Adriana was going to do something with this information, when she literally called Julia a nymph or something. She's like, Julia always is overly flirtatious. She said, she said, I'm not going to side with you on this one, Larsa. She's like, I think Julia does try to seduce people and all this stuff. Basically taking the side of Adriana, Lisa, and Gertie in them. I like Stephanie because she's able to stand on her own and she doesn't care. And I think the women are so threatened by it. But I don't think they're going to want Stephanie in the group much longer, especially because I'm hearing that Marisol does a lot of dirty work and a lot of drama behind the scenes. She does a lot of that behind the scenes and like paying for things from production and all of this stuff. So we shall see what happens with Miami, but I am ready for them to wrap it up. And unfortunately, like, yeah, like I said, I do think the Julia's gonna come back. I don't think Gertie's gonna come back. I don't think Gertie should come back. Just because the reunion performance, and it's just like I just wouldn't want to be in a group where people clearly are targeting against me. Like it's just like, okay, bite off someone else's head. Like I'm just very much like that in situations like that. But yes, that was a full deep dive into the Wendy and the Eddie stuff. I talked about Potomac, Salt Lake City, and then, of course, a little bit about Miami. The next episode will also be another Toxic Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to keep the titles though. Like, there's still Toxic Tuesdays, but I'm going to get more fun and creative with my titles again because I've been missing that. But yes, until the next time, make sure you guys listen to part 1 of Candace and Monique's friendship fallout. Part 2 will not be this week, it'll be next Friday. Until the next time, I'll see you guys.